That's amazing. And what those two trends of the demographic shifting and the preponderance of technology translated in 2008 to a presidential election that saw 132 million people vote from across our country. A 10 million difference from 2004, a 27 million difference from 2000. Here in New Jersey, 3,800,000 voters for a state with a population of 8.6 million. That's from amongst 5.2 million voters. We saw 1.2 million new voters in New Jersey, of which 900,000 were Democratic voters. And even here in Somerset County, President Obama was the first Democratic presidential candidate in history to win Somerset County. Yeah. Somerset County, once being the heart of the Republican Party, now has, according to the numbers I could find, 50,942 registered Republicans and 51,841 Democrats. So last year we made history along a number of lines. History in electing our first African-American president, history in terms of voter turnout, history in Somerset County as it relates to what we've witnessed over the past year. And I want to say that what President Obama taught me, and what his campaign taught me, is that you can never count anybody out. You can never believe that anything is not possible. I'll tell you a very quick story. I organized a fundraiser for Obama in Chicago for business owners. And it was early in the campaign when he was still behind Hillary Clinton and it didn't look like he had a chance of winning the nomination. And at the fundraiser, I'll never forget the words that then Senator Obama spoke. He said that evening to this group of business people, he said, I know, and these are his words, not my words, he said, I know that there are many of you here this evening that don't think I can do it. You don't think I can win, you don't think I can win the nomination, and you certainly don't think I can win the presidency. He said, but I'll tell you what, he said, when you see me in front of America on January 20th, 2009, and put my hand on the Bible, standing next to Michelle and Sasha and Malia, then you will believe. And you know what I did? I turned to the person next to me, you know what I said? I said, this guy thinks he can win. That's what I said. Exactly what I said. This guy thinks he can win, he's crazy. But you know what? January 20th, 2009, he put his hand on the Bible, and so I believe that President Obama demonstrates what I call the mindset of a history maker, the mindset of a trailblazer, the mindset that is needed to believe that whatever your mind can conceive, that you can achieve, that you can venture into what I call uncharted territory, that you can go from what I call the road less traveled to the road never traveled, that you can actually indeed make history. And I see that mindset in President Obama. I also see that in the mindset of our Democratic Governor, John Corzine. Now let's keep it real, let's keep it real. Here's a man who was down 14 points on August 5th, 2009. Down 14 points. People began to call for him to step out of the race. Some from amongst the public didn't think he could work his way back into this competition. And the state began to prepare itself for the possibility that our governorship could move into the hands of a Republican. But what happened? I'll tell you what happened between August 5th, 2009 and today. The first thing that happened is that John Corzine began to speak. He began to tout his record of accomplishment as the first state in our country to implement an economic recovery plan, bring $17 billion in stimulus funds to New Jersey, 100,000 new children in our family care program, the first governor in history to cut spending 2 years in a row, $4.5 billion in cuts, invested $1.8 billion in education in since 2006. A president stands beside him to bring our country back to economic prosperity. The first thing that happened to change those numbers is that Jon Corzine started speaking. The second thing that happened is Chris Christie started speaking. Saying he would provide tax breaks to the wealthy and big corporations, saying he would eliminate insurance mandates for life-saving procedures like mammograms and 48-hour stays for new mothers, saying he would continue the failed economic policies of George Bush, and saying he would reject billions of dollars in stimulus money without any specifics on how to close an $8 billion budget deficit. New Jersey has now come to see the real Jon Corzine and the real Chris Christie, prompting the Philadelphia Inquirer to endorse Governor Corzine and say the following: over the better part of a year of campaigning, Christie gave the public astonishingly few reasons to vote for him. By dodging fundamental policy questions, he asked to be exempted from the basic rules of seeking public office. Now, there's an old song that you may remember that was written by James Brown that was called "Talking Loud and Saying Nothing." Well, Chris Christie's been talking loud and saying nothing. A race that was once separated by almost 15 points has come down to a dead heat, and it's not a dead heat, it is a done deal. Jon Corzine will win. Chris Christie will win. And the only thing that will be dead will be Chris Christie's campaign. Jon Corzine is hired, and Chris Christie is fired. So let me start to wrap this up. My point is this, ladies and gentlemen. That the spirit that I saw in President Barack Obama in 2008, the spirit of a history maker, the spirit of a trailblazer, is the same spirit I see in Governor Corzine. It's the same spirit I see in people like Senator Bob Smith, one of our leading environmental lawmakers. It is the same spirit that I see in our assembly candidates, Roberta Karpinecz and Mark Petraske. I see that mindset in each individual. It's the same mindset that I see in our next freeholders, Cecilia, Birge, and Singleterry. It's the same mindset that I see here in Somerset County, that if Barack Obama made history in 2008, and Jon Corzine will make history by coming back from 14 points to win the governorship, and I will see history made in Somerset County in 2009 when we elect Democrats to our freeholder board, break the history of 30 years, begin to break the Republican monopolies in our municipalities, and together this county will make history in 2009. The demographics are shifting. Technology is playing a more integral role. Voter turnout has been at an all-time high. These are not temporary changes, ladies and gentlemen. These are lasting changes. What remains to be seen is whether our party can sufficiently tap into these new demographics, sufficiently leverage technology, sufficiently maintain the trend of voter turnout, such that what we saw in 2008 was not a one-hit wonder, was not a fluke, was not the exception, but rather becomes the norm.